Soaps. Today we are working on the last few of our non-comic convention soaps before we finish up our comic convention soaps and start working on all of the other stuff we bring to the comic conventions. So today we are going to be doing, what are we doing? We're doing Dill Pickle, Dr. Pepper, or as we call it, 23, Margarita, and we'll be doing a soap inspired by Whataburger here in Texas, which will be our honey butter soap. So to get started, we're going to start with our honey butter soap today. So we are going to start with our neon orange, because the logo colors of Whataburger are orange and white. So we're going to start off with our neon orange, but it's not quite neon, so we're going to tone it down a little bit with our pumpkin head. Set that aside for right now. Add a little bit of our oil in here. Get that mixing. So it's a pretty bright color, not quite fluorescent neon, but it's an orange you see for miles. That looks pretty good. You can always darken it up a little bit later as we go, but that is going to do us for right now. A little bit of neon streaks in there still, but it'll all get mixed in the end. We'll set that aside. Bring our main oils in here. Grab my gloves. Ripped glove. Whataburger is nationwide now, after all. You know, don't they only have like one in a different state or something? No, that doesn't count as a Rip Zulu. Our lye water into our oils. True. Oh, there's Whataburger in Colorado. I did not know there was one in Colorado yet. I wonder how it'll do there. Okay. All right. Going to weigh this out because I want to get pretty even lines. So I want to make sure that I have the total weight after it's been mixed, so I can count for any air or any other things that might be trapped in there. One, 4, 6, 6. And then I'm going to bring this over just so I get the right measurements. perfectly even. Okay. Let's see here. So this color is looking a little too bright for me. I'm going to tone it down a little bit more. And then just a tiny bit of black. That should do it. Whataburger run, anybody want something? You know, the chicken sandwich, the buffalo chicken sandwich is back right now. That's always nice. But in theme tonight, you gotta get a Dr. Pepper shake. Stay in the theme of the evening. Mix this up real good. So this fragrance for this soap is my honey butter blend. And it's a mixture of a couple of different honey fragrances as well as buttered popcorn, which kind of brings in that biscuity smell. It's pretty good. Make sure this is all getting mixed in here. Now, to the big bucket, I am going to add white for their signature white. And I'm low on my white, so I just mixed it up in the container here. Alright, there's our lovely white. Go rinse this off before it gets bad. I'm going to bring in the first container here. And I'm going to add fragrance oil just to my orange because it does discolor just a bit and white is very susceptible to that. Maybe we'll get Whataburger when we cut it, Zulu. That way you can still have some. Okay. So, new molds, new green mold, so that Zulu can and all of y'all can have fun with our green screen. So let's get this guy over here. And let's start with a thin layer. Now, this process, because I want it to firm up between layers, is going to take a bit. So, I have prepared for us another project. So, we are going to be making a lime, or at least attempting to make a lime. So, to do so, we're going to open this up, make sure he's clean, give him a little wipe out. So this is a circular mold, and this is one of our ones that goes with the melt and pour soap. You can do cold process in here, but because we're kind of doing it on the fly, we want to save some time. Make sure that all lines up. And we have our clippies. Oh, Zulu, you and that Whopper song. Are you sure there's no Whataburger Jr.? Isn't there a kid's Whataburger? Just a burger. No, but don't they call the kids one specifically something embarrassingly catchy? Hello, welcome. We are making soap. We are just about to start cutting up stuff to make a lime, hopefully a lime. Hopefully it works out. Haven't done this exact style before, but that's okay. We're always trying new things. Container does not want to give up. What you looking for?
Oh yeah, so I forgot about my gold mishap. Can I have some gold dust?
Oh yeah, you can have some gold dust. Where did I put the gold dust?
Mm-hmm. This is my paper.
I'm gonna have to find the gold dust. Put it on the table. It'd be in a container like this. Oh, never mind. It's over by the mixer.
Ah, see it. Just kind of sprinkle it on?
If you do that, it'll go everywhere. Just take a spoon, baby spoon, and do like half a baby spoon. There we go. All right. Tiny knife and a bunch, melt and pour. Okay, we're gonna start with this much. So this is our melt and pour glycerin soap. This is ultra refined glycerin.
That's why it's going everywhere anyway.
What?
It's going everywhere anyway.
Oh, you didn't need to spread it out that far.
Yeah.
But okay. Alright, and to this we're gonna add a little bit of our maniacal pea. Don't want it massively saturated, but definitely enough to see there's color in there. And then we're gonna add a little bit of alcohol and microwave this for about a minute, All right. While that does that, let's check on our layer here. This first layer, it's still a little soft. That's okay. Wake everything else up so it stays soft. And we'll go from there. So these will be used for the margarita, and if I really like them, they'll also be used for our cilantro soap, which is a cilantro and lime. Perfect. So get that a nice mix. Might get a little spatula in here. Make sure we don't have clumps of it on the bottom. And then I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of radioactive, just to kind of pop that green. No TNL, no booze in this actually. Alcohol makes soap accelerate. But just a little alcohol in the melt and pour helps it to kind of incorporate better. All right, I think we've got a nice limey color there. Stand this guy up as best we can. And we're gonna pour this down there. Careful not to spill it. Let it settle for a second, because it always does. Okay. That will probably drip just a bit, but that's okay. So we're gonna move this into the fridge so that it can set up while we continue with this soap. Nice place in the fridge to chill faster. Let's see how this layer is going. I would think that's set up enough for us to pour the next layer very gently. Oop. Let's move that around, get it nice and flexible. Then we're going to very gently pour onto the next layer. A little bit more. That should do it for this one. Make sure that's nice and even. You may notice some things are slightly different tonight. Funny story, when I upgraded the CPU, I had to reinstall Windows. Somehow I managed to back up everything except my entire OBS assets folder. So I basically had to rebuild this entire stream from scratch. Yep, so that's kind of where we are with everything today, but so far so good. Let's keep high hopes. All right, I'm going to set aside a little bit more soap for that, but we're also going to cut up some soap for ice cubes. So we're doing 2 drinks, so we're going to cut ice cubes to float in those drinks. I like my ice cubes pretty squared off. Not too crazy. But not quite inorganic shapes. We're not making crushed ice. We're doing just traditional cubes. Slightly oblong cubes, if anything. But if you cut them too small, they don't look like cubes. If they're too big, then they look too fake. Not that we're trying to go for complete realism here, but it sure looks nice when it looks more realistic. Save these center pieces that have the hole kind of cut through them. Okay. Do you want to cut one?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Basically quartering it.
Okay. How am I doing this?
So I'd leave it up, cut it in half, other way, and then turn it onto its side, and cut that in half the same way. Ta-da, you have now made ice cubes.
Yay, it goes in there.
Yes.
Cool.
Please don't throw them anywhere else.
You don't want the Whataburger soap to have ice cubes?
No, Whataburger does not have special ice. They do not get ice cubes. Plus, there shouldn't be ice. Nope, it doesn't fit in there right now.
It doesn't fit in there right now. Oh.
It'll go back in there when it's ready.
Okay.
I had to take some milk out of the fridge briefly. So, it is on our counter, and Zulu is trying to be a responsible adult and put it away. But our soap is in there right now. And so...
Priorities.
Definitely priorities. Alright. So this melt and pour will sweat as it's in the soap, and it'll end up looking like condensation on the ice cubes, and it looks really good. Yeah, that's not a bad piece either. Oh, you guys talking tech in my stream. I don't know that stuff. I make soap. You guys talk tech all you want. Grim, stop checking the counters. Okay. These inner pieces that have absolutely no purpose in my ice cubes. So I set those aside for sure. But we're going to keep working on our lime in just a minute. I think we might be ready for the next layer of this soap. Not quite. A little bit longer. Let's mix everything up so it stays loose. Because heaven knows meddling with it always slows it down when I want it to. Or when I don't want it to. This nice, slow-moving fragrance oil kind of starts off a little harsh, but as it cures, it mellows to be that honey butter scent. I don't need that anymore because we don't have that container of stuff anymore. Go ahead and put the sheath on there. So moving into the next color, we're gonna do a bit of a darker green because we're gonna actually do the rind, I guess, next. So we're gonna do a little radioactive. And a little 3 olive martini. A little more, 3 olive martini. Alright. The outside of the lime is always a little darker, sometimes get a little brown spots. Nothing wrong with that. But we want to make sure it's all good. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a good lime exterior. That should be all I need for that. We're just going to line the outside. Because we just need a rim. Oh, that's setting up nicely. It's not there yet. But we don't need to melt that just yet either. Still too soft. Let's mix up our next color. So, our next soap that we're gonna do is our Dr. Pepper soap. And for this soap, we need some salt because when we mix the salt into the soap, it's gonna look like carbonation bubbles. So we're gonna put some salt in here and mix it with a little bit of our spicy red tomato fragrant or mica. That way it will incorporate properly and not stand out too badly. And we'll add more of that in a minute, but just enough to kind of get these coated. So they're nice little chunky salts. Let's go a little bit more. Gotta love that Dr. Pepper. The best part is when you're washing your body with it, it's calorie free. There we go. There's our red salt. It's kind of that reddy brown. And then the color of the fragrance oil will darken it over time. So it ends up being a really nice, deep, brownish red, just like Dr. Pepper is. It's quite nice when it works out that way. All right, we're a little firmer. We're gonna go in with another layer. Now the reason we're doing this is the logo for Whataburger is the white and orange stripes. And I've tried a couple different methods before, but this is really the best way to get those crisp, clean lines. Let's see. That's not quite enough, but let's spread it out. And we'll get the other side. I'm taking as much care as I can to kind of be consistent on these levels, but it may be a little uneven at points, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Now this one's a lot more liquid than that one. I have faith that I can actually just go straight in with this layer. And turn and fill it in a little bit more. All right. Let that layer sit for a little bit. So as far as like regional specific food chains go, I definitely say Whataburger is up there. I am partial to my California-based In-N-Out, but you know, it's kind of all your preference. Now that I live here in Texas, I've also been able to try Culver's, which is more regional to like the Midwest, but there's other places. Brahms. I'm not familiar with Brahms. That's not one that I'm familiar with at all. I know when I lived in New York, it wasn't necessarily fast food, but we had Stewart's gas stations, and they had their own soda line. And Stewart's Black Cherry Cola was my favorite. And every time I see black cherry soda, I always have to get it. But it's not the same as Stewart's. They're all over Texas. Huh. I must just be in a pocket here in Houston that I've never seen one. I'm not familiar with Brahms. Whataburger, yes. Brahms, not so much. Are we talking East Texas or West Texas? Because everyone knows there's a difference. And if you don't, you're probably from West Texas. Yeah, you're getting more west on that side, I guess. Kind of not too far out. You're about 5 hours out from us. But next time we're through Dallas, we'll have to check it out. What's your favorite thing there? say I'm doing pretty good keeping these even. Like, what kind of food does Brahms have or all that? I am very curious. I like regional cuisines and stuff like that. And I do believe that fast food is a type of regional cuisine. If you don't, then you are not familiar with the Americana of it all. Let's check on our lime. I don't think it's fully solidified, but we can check on it. It might be solidified enough to go in the freezer, which will get it the rest of the way there. It is solid enough to possibly go in the freezer. All right. Nicely tucked away in the freezer. I'll let that sit there for a little bit longer. The menu, their bacon burger, but also your ice cream shop. Ooh, nice. When I lived in New York, we had an ice cream parlor that was really good. It was Friendly's. They tried to compete with IHOP for some reason, and they do these ridiculous like breakfast sundaes. There's like a cinnamon roll topped with vanilla ice cream, or double chocolate chip pancakes with brownie batter ice cream, or French toast with strawberry ice cream. It was ridiculous, and people would buy it, and I questioned sanity a lot, but I'll admit the cinnamon roll with the vanilla ice cream on top was really good, because we had to try everything when they brought out new items, and that was kind of fun. All right, we'll see ya. Enjoy bathing the child, if that's not too much of a task in your house. Hopefully not. I know it can be hit or miss of whether they like it or not. Still jiggly. That's why we do this one early in the day, and then we have 2 easy ones, and then our last one will be slightly more difficult. But that is okay. We are planning on that. That is the key. But this one will look really cool when it comes out. It'll have the stripes, and I'm gonna make the top flat if I can, which I should be able to, so that we can actually turn it on its side and have the Whataburger stripes going up and down instead of horizontal like they're supposed to. So that will be nice. Then we'll go into our Dr. Pepper soap, which the fragrance oils for scents that are duplications of actual scents usually are trying to skirt the copyright and all that, but this one's my favorite. Mr. Pepper MD, with our little mad scientist guy on there. I think it's just the best. It makes you think maybe he's more of an old school doctor in a small town. He doesn't want to be called Dr. Pepper. He just wants to be Mr. Pepper. But don't forget that he's a doctor. So, just the silly things that go through my brain when looking at all of the things. Indeed, they bounce. They have returned. I see all of the little sudsies and all of their little happiness. Ooh, he could be a mad scientist. He doesn't know. Doesn't want to be found out. He does look slightly deranged in his shower cap and stethoscope, holding a red jalapeno and a glass of cola, which which I don't know if you can fully see all that. Probably not. But it is rather silly. As are many things that are on these labels, to be completely honest. While that continues to go, I'm going to measure out the Mr. Pepperoni and start getting those things prepped, because this next layer should be ready soon. There. 2.5 ounces of Mr. Pepper. So a very golden fragrance oil. Nice and shiny. We'll put him off to the side here with his salt. Check the jiggle. Oh, it's getting thicker. It's almost there. Let's get our lye water ready for our next batch. Okay, all mixed up. Measuring out dangerous chemicals very carefully. 432. Ooh, still nice and toasty warm. We've got our next lye water up here. And I'm going to measure out my next oils. So while Dr. Pepper is not my go-to soda, I definitely like it. But I'd have to say my go-to soda, of course, being, if I can find it, is the black cherry. But then I'd go with either Fanta Orange or Mountain Dew, depending on my day. So I'm more of a fruit soda kind of person, I guess you could say. What about you guys? What kind of sodas do you like? I know there's some weird ones out there too, like I've tried a bunch of like Japanese ones. There was a weird yogurt one that was surprisingly good. Would get again. Our oil's done. Waiting on this. Strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper. Ooh, I haven't tried the strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper. I am curious though, so if you say it's good, I might just have to try that out. Oh, those of you who didn't hear the question due to my mistimed ads. What's your favorite soda? I like fruity sodas. Now I'm curious to try the berries or the strawberries and cream. I tried the dark berries from Dr. Pepper and I really liked it. I thought it tasted like slushy, like a melted slushy. So it was a very interesting flavor, but like in a good way. All right, let's very gently pour some more of this on top. Tap that down. Do I see pickle soap as a project? Yes, indeed you do. We're doing pickle soap. We're gonna do Dr. Pepper next and then pickle right afterwards. So we're working on our honey butter soap right now. This is starting to get thick finally. Been pretty runny up till now, but that's okay. Probably could have given a little time between those. I'm seeing some displacement of the layer below. But considering how uneven my lines were last time, I will be okay with that. Okay. Get every last bit of this in here. Scrape down my own spoon here. Okay. Nice and flat and even. I don't want to add any extra into here. And I want to keep it nice and even. So we do have a little extra, and that's going to start our new falcon. Weird question, just because I'm so used to regular store soap. Does y'all soap cut oils and such when it comes to getting it on hands? Yes, so most soaps will cut through oil when it comes to washing your hands. We are literally working with oil most days throughout the week, and because of that, we have to use soap to wash off the oil when it's not being turned into soap. And our soap cuts through that oil. All soap should cut through oil. If you're talking about more liquid soaps or stuff that's referred to like as a beauty bar, which would be a Scindent bar, which is a bunch of synthetic detergents, those may not always cut through in the same way that a traditional lye-based soap will. And that's what we use, and that's what we make. All right, I'm gonna go set this on the other counter so that we can get started on our Dr. Pepper soap. Slide right there. But in the meantime, let's fill up our falcon. We don't want to waste extra soap here. We want to turn it into beautiful, beautiful art. I actually bought a few bars last week when watching Y'all in Science and really excited to try the Dr. Pepper soap. Awesome! Thank you so much for buying from us. I hope you like them. I'm partial to my own soap, of course, but I think you'll enjoy them. Especially if you're a Dr. Pepper fan. Doing a quick rinse down in my bowl here because I'm actually one bowl shy today. That's all I actually need. But that's okay. We can wash things. We'll get rid of this one. But we don't need to worry about this for this next soap because this is our single color soap. This is our Dr. Pepper. So for this soap, all right, there we go. Oh, nice. They have been sent out. Let us know you like brain. I mess with the poll thing later. It's being difficult. Yeah, that happens. I also didn't read it because it said one left, and I just checked out and make sure I got it. What's the scent of the pink Fight Club soap? Oh, so the Fight Club soap is tobacco and caramel. It's really good. Molds. More molds. I have another green mold, but I want to use that for a different one. Thank y'all for stopping by from the science stream. It's really cool to see y'all here. Yeah, so the tobacco and caramel is a pretty unique combo. Tobacco on its own can be a little harsh, and caramel on its own can be a little sweet, and so they balance each other out really nicely. I think if we didn't tell you there was caramel in it, you may not be able to tell on your own, but it tones down some of the more bitter notes of the tobacco to make it a little more sweet, smoky. All right. Single color soaps are so easy. That should be enough. All right. We have our clean mixer here. We're gonna have a little fun just mixing this up on its own before we add our lye. Because it looks like a magic potion. Bubbles, no bubbles. All right, there's our mica just floating freely in the oils there, creating those magical swirls. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our lye water solution. And let's blend. You'll see it'll start to kind of dull out a little bit, but that's expected as it becomes more opaque. Let's add some more color in there. Dark enough for me. It is going to naturally darken just from the fragrance oil, but we want to make sure we give it a good base to work with, or else that red tone is going to get lost. All right, now I'm going to add my fragrance oil. Oh, it smells so good. And that will at first lighten it a little, but then as it cures, it's going to darken it more. Unless they completely reformulated it, which I doubt they would do. I was intrigued by the orange chili scent, but went with the Beskar instead because I'm still mad and molding about the World Series. Yeah, that World Series win. And all of the Houstonians that are super, super happy with it. Good for them. I'm not really a sports person myself, but we do support our local teams because with the soaps that represent Houston, we give a portion of those proceeds to the Houston Food Bank. So we kind of give back to the community with that one. All right, now we're gonna add our salt, and that is gonna help with lather as well as give us that carbonated look. Okay, yeah, I can see the salt crystals in there just hanging out, and as it sits, that will turn them into bubbles basically. So we're going to fill it part of the way up. And now we're going to add some cubes. Our ice cubes here. A little bit more. Gotta remember, I got one more ice cube soap today. That's good. For interior, I want this to thicken up a little bit, so I'm gonna let it sit for a minute, and we're gonna check on our lime that is in the freezer. That looks nice and solid to me. All right. All right, there's the lime core, looking nice and limey. Let's do our next part here. We're gonna melt this down and create the rind of the lime. So, we're gonna put this back together, trying to not touch it too much because it's cold. We want to keep it cold. Beautiful. So compared with our lime, we're a little darker as desired. You put a drop of alcohol in here to break up some clumps. Put the clamps back on just to be sure it holds its shape properly. Alright. So this will not be enough to fill up this whole thing, but that's not my intention. I am trying to create a rind. So one layer, not too bad. There we go, nice and thick. Let's pile the rest of this on top. Shape that up nicely. The rest of this is going to go in the falcon. Perfect. Now we're going to individually place some ice cubes on top. Make it a little more aesthetic. But first, I'm going to do another coat with this as it's trying to set up on me. Okay, that's working for y'all so far. All right, I'm gonna pull my knife out because I am gonna make some of these smaller for the topping. So if they get too big on the top, they take over. But again, I have a Margarita soap and I need to save some for that one too. All right. Yeah, let's go 2 more. And it's a nice ice cube there. One here. Okay, I said 2 more, but I get 2 more spots. So these clear things are melt and pour soap, so pure glycerin soap. that ends up looking like ice cubes in the final soap. And they'll even start sweating like ice cubes and kind of really sell the whole idea of it. I'm gonna make sure they're in there good. If they're not in there well enough, they'll come off when I cut. All right, there's our Dr. Pepper soap. We got some of it mixed in, some of it on top. Should look like it's all floating near the top. Go ahead and set this one aside, and let's do a little more work on our lime here. How's that rind looking? That rind looks pretty convincing. All right, so our lime, I have two options. I can either leave it flat, or I can segment it. And I'm kind of liking the segmenting idea. So let's at least do a little bit of that. Okay, got a little off on the corner there. How long do soaps normally take to cure? Yes, cure is the right term. Every recipe is a little different. My soaps typically take about 4 to 6 weeks to cure. So from today, they'll go about a week of processing and then about 4 to 5 weeks on the shelf. Well, these segments are not perfect, but that is okay. We don't have to be perfect. Nature is organic. Okay, there's one set of segments. That's not lining up, so something got flipped. Those go there. These go here. Haha! I know what I'm doing. Part of the time at least. Wow, that wasn't what I thought. Do you just keep them in a normal room temp, or is there a hot cold requirement? So we keep it at room temp. However, we have what we call our dry room. Because we live in Texas, humidity is always a problem. And so we have a room where we control the humidity. Oh no, I cut the mat. I did not mean to press that hard. But we try to keep the humidity between 40 and 45% because we find we have the best results there. Alexa, I wasn't talking to you. Alexa, back. Technology, man. You just have to reconnect. She's fine.
What did you say to trigger Alexa?
I don't know what I said to trigger Alexa, but we need to order a new one of these The knife I used is
good.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was pressing that hard.
I mean, we got another one over there.
We do.
That was like effort to.
Yeah, that one's protecting that counter from the bath bomb stuff, though.
Might just get two so we can cover the whole thing.
That would be nice. Alright, moving right along. Cutting really terrible lime segments. Okay. That was awful. They look terrible. That's okay. Can I help you?
No.
You judging my terrible lime segments?
I don't see how they're terrible.
Because they're all different shapes and angles. Alright. Now I need a small amount of white. Do I use this bit? No. I use white. How do I want to do this? I want to take a couple of these. That should be enough. Really? That should be enough.
Creative process at work.
Tiny cup, but that's okay. White, because rinds are white.
Can I put the smoke back now?
Yeah. Okay, not a tiny bit of white, a lot of white. Okay. Now we go microwave this so that it melts. But we watch it closely so it doesn't overflow. Because it's a tiny cup. And if it heats, it expands. So we keep a close eye on it. And we check it shortly so we have less visual. That's good. All right. Mixy, 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 mixy. Couple drops of alcohol. Changes the surface tension, makes it mix up better. Now, if we want to get it to stick inside of here, we again add a little bit of alcohol, mix it around. And we're going to pour this down. Barely covers a third, but that's okay because in theory, okay, well, less in theory, in practice, there's more of these sticks that are going in than there's actually space for any of them. So it should displace all of that and work it into the interior spaces in theory, thus giving us segments. Well, those are definitely not right. That's okay. Does it fit? It fits. Whoop. It kind of fits. All right, let's take one segment out. See if that will give us enough space. Nope. Why do you guys still want to do this to me? Please don't be a complete failure. Going so slowly. Nope. Maybe? This is not going well. Well, this is not going according to plan. Well being a complete nomenclature at this point. Alright. Let's go with a different plan. Because this one didn't work. Alright. New plan. We remelt everything. Our rind is still there. I can make our rind still work. Okay. Start melting this. Going to pat this relatively dry / relatively firm, I guess. We're gonna let this dry because it'll peel right up. Then we're gonna take our mica and we're gonna straight up just dust the interior. The whole interior. Alright, we're going to reconnect these now dusted halves. I hear you. Re-clippy. Ow. Put it back in the container. Not set up yet? Not quite yet. Are you melted? You're most melted? A little bit more. These are nice and warmed back up. Is this set up yet? Partially. Enough that I can get it up with butter. We're going to mix it into there to make a more pastel interior so that the outside of our lime looks more dark green. Not so hot, it should just dissolve right away. Let it cool down for a minute. All right. Even though it's still pretty hot, we're going to very carefully pour down the center again, and whatever comes out, and it all comes out the bottom because somewhere is not sealed. Aha, I win. Making messes, but hey, that's art. Okay. Our lime, or at least whatever lime we're gonna get out of it, is here. And I'm going to annoy Zulu again by removing the milk from the fridge for a few more minutes. Even though it's safe at room temperature for hours. So, all right. Well, there's our little adventure in trying to make a lime, and I will be ordering a lime mold for future use because that was annoying. But anyway, I'm gonna prep our oil for our next soap. Let's get our oil and our lye together. Start with our lye water solution here. Our next soap is our very beloved pickle soap. Carefully measure our lye here. All right. Our lye water. Then our oil. oil, and then I'm just going to measure out our fragrance, and then we'll be good to go on this one. All right. 1, 2, pickles. All right. So this pickle soap, it's definitely pickle, but it's a lot closer to like a cucumber and dill scent than like straight up like out of the jar pickle. Okay. Is the pickle soap going to be in the shop? Yes. Everything is going to be in the shop. We're making in real time with you guys. A lot of like the soap channels online that will do like YouTube stuff, they'll usually post their making videos a lot closer to release dates. But because of just the nature of how soap works, we would be a month and a half behind on everything if we made in real time, which I guess we couldn't make in real time, but it'd be like, okay, it's Easter tomorrow, let's make an Easter soap. It'd be ready by 4th of July-ish. So, all right. So, for this soap, we're gonna do 3 colors. We're gonna do my favorite maniacal pea, which is a beautiful green. Then we're gonna do some radioactive, and to that we're gonna add a little white. To kind of mute it down just a little bit. And then our final green is going to be my Laurine green, which is kind of a pale green. I don't need to do that just yet because I need to mix that up first. Yes. All right. Let's get our gloves back on here. Some fresh gloves. Alright, so we take just a touch of our oil to mix up our stuff. Because we're still mixing greens, we'll take our spatula. It's been mixing greens tonight. Mixy, mixy, mixy. And now the white colorant is dissolved in water, so it's gonna stay separate until we emulsify it with the blender. But at least it's in there so we don't have to think about it later. Okay. Get our clean blender in there. Bring over our lye water. I'm trying to imagine a maniacal pea, like an evil villain that's just a tiny vegetable. Yes, definitely a little evil pea. Kind of like our evil Sudsy. Imagine him with a big mustache and maybe a crown because he'd be an evil dictator, a self-imposed king. And he'd just be green, and his robe would be the pea pod. Yeah, I like this. All right, let's mix up. I think there are peas in VeggieTales, and I do think that they tend to be mean, so maybe. All right, keep that pretty simple. Let's bring in our other colors. And then we'll mix our Lorraine in here. Oh, there's the Borkins. The only one that really needs blending is this one. So I'm going to come back in here. I want this just barely green. Perfect. Then we've got our more intense green. Should say probably more saturated versus intense. And the last one has that titanium dioxide in there, and we have to blend that to incorporate it properly. Okay. Go rinse this off so that it's not causing problems. Hey, you're okay. Got messed up. Just got lye on my sleeve, so I'm actually going to take that off. I don't think I got anything on me, but that is part of why we have it, to protect the skin. And it got on there and I felt wet, so took it off. Now, and we'll wash those to get them ready for next week. All right, let's see here. I need another thing. All right. Am I happy with my greens? Are we different enough? Yeah, I think I want a little more green. Just a little bit. I'm gonna do 3 olive martini. Just enough. Just a little difference. That deep olivey green. Yeah. Represent the gherkins of the bunch. All right, let's pour some fragrance oil. No, I'll be careful. I've done this enough without anything on it. If it's the one doing the pouring, it can't get splashed on. Plus, I only have one more soap to mix up. So, we'll be careful. I think it almost got me. Okay. Oh yeah, that dill pickle's starting to come out. I can smell it. This is why you pour wine into water and oil. Never do it the other way around. Oh yeah. Gotta keep it safe. Gotta stay on top of it. Have some semblance of control. Better to have the water splash than the lye splash. All right. We're all together here. So now, I did a drop swirl last time, and I think I'm going to continue with that. So, we have all of our extra here. We're going to go in with our base. Scrape it all down. Nice blank canvas to work with. Then I'm going to come in with my radioactive mix. Do a fair amount of that, saving some. Then we'll come in with our maniacal pea mixture. And then we'll come in with our olive. Back in with maniacal pea. And this is very liquidy, so I'm going to let it sit up before I do too much more. I am going to put in the last of the radioactive. And just make sure we have all of the colors on top after it sets up just a little bit. Okay. The Borkin is heavy tonight. These greens look great, but this is so liquid I don't want to move it yet. until it actually responds to me mixing it up. And then I have, of course, what's a pickle without dill? So we'll put some dill on top and call it a day once it's not completely liquid anymore. So that'll be a couple minutes. Starting to slow down its response. Good. Dilly dilly, indeed. So I am a recent convert to pickles. I was not a pickle child. My brother was, but I was not. And now I find I'm very picky with my pickles because I don't like many, but I do like pickles now. Abused. I like dill, I like kosher, and I really like the zesty dill from Vlasic. I think that's like possibly the best pickle out there. But I don't really like the juicy pickles, so I kind of squeeze them out and dry them out, which is fun. And yeah, this smell, as it sits, it becomes a little bit more cucumbery. But just like this, it's kind of that residue on your fingers after eating a pickle. Not too strong, but definitely there. Oh, it's so liquidy. Some fragrance oils slow things way down, some speed them way up. Last time I made this, I put a lot more titanium dioxide in it, but as I have gone, I've learned I don't need to titanium dioxide everything. My soap base is pretty white on its own. So I try to rely on that white as opposed to putting titanium in everything, because titanium isn't cheap, and at least today I am almost out of it, so I do need to order some more. We're starting to stay a little bit. It's weird how much it smells like pickle, but it's also really fun how much it smells like pickle. I don't know. It's just a weird mix and it's kind of fun. I want to drizzle more of these two on there, but I want to wait for it to be strong enough to actually hold it. So I'm gonna go check on our lime and see how it's doing. Alright, how's my lime? Still soft, but that's okay. You're firm enough to put in the freezer, which is what we want to do. That is in the freezer, ready to go. Only fitting because it's gonna go on a margarita. Oh yes, now we've got some hold. Let's see if it can take this. Looks like it's doing well. And the last little bit, just a bit of the olive. Not even use all of it. We'll put a little bit in the falcon for the weird combination of scents that it's going to create. Interesting, the gift included a blackberry. No blackberries! This is a blackberry-free home. We do not need blackberries and the spiders that they contain. I used to have a BlackBerry phone back when having a BlackBerry was like oh my god, you're so technologically advanced. Even though you're not allowed to use the internet because it's expensive. Swirly, swirly. And let's work on opening up our dill here, even though it needs a little bit more time. Friendship, companionship, love. He's just a lonely spice. He deserves nice things. All right. I'm going to set this to the side and let it continue to harden as we get our next soap prepped. Because we're going to somewhat frost this last soap, and it always ends up taking more time than I expected. So if we do that and then come back to this, maybe we won't completely lose our minds with the time delay. All right. Nice and easy. Last soap is everything in the bucket. So we're just going to bring over the bucket. Bucket! And then the lye water is everything in this bucket. Indeed, margaritas. All right. Very careful with our lye water. Very slow. Okay. There's the last of our lye water. Let's go pour some fragrance. That's full. This is a very light fragrance oil, like density-wise, so it's taking up my whole cup to be the right amount. Let's go ahead and switch out gloves. Come on. Warm, sweaty hands from all these gloves, but we're safe, and that's what's important. Yeah, these are getting cut up. So what if they look a little oblong? They're just gonna sit on the counter and gather dust if I don't. Putting the gloves back on, and let's start blending. Get our blender here. Maybe don't spill fragrance oil. Tilt the bucket a little bit so it's a little deeper. No air bubbles. Come on. There we go. Too many air bubbles. Okay. A little more. Okay. Set that aside. We're going to divide off. First off, we're going to divide off our frosting. There we go. And that's just going to sit over to the side until I'm ready for it. Then we're going to divide off two colors here. A little bit more back in there. All right. Our base color is going to be a mixture of our radioactive and a little bit of maniacal pea. Then we're going to have one Let Us Entertain You, or Lettuce Entertain You. And then the rest is going to be either white or cream. I think we're going to cream on the bottom and white on the top. Blend in our Lettuce Entertain You. Let us entertain you. Like I've said, Mad Micah's has a lot of fun naming their colors. And it's a very lettucey green. Mixy, mixy, mixy. This is one reason why I usually disperse my colors in oil beforehand, but it's all good. Just takes a little bit more mixing. Okay. That's almost there. So once we get this together, we should be good. All right. Fragrance oil. Fragrance oil. White and white. Okay. And now I need to order more white, but that's okay. We're gonna move this slightly. Now we're gonna blend everything. Starting with our frosting so it can set up. Okay, there's that. Set that aside so we can start to set up. Then we'll do our white interior. Our green. Now it looks like this fragrance oil is gonna discolor slightly. It's not abnormal on greens to have some like weird color morphing, but it should go back to normal later. Ooh, that's loud. Okay. You go there. You come here. Okay. So, bring in our final piece there. We're gonna do an in the pot swirl for these. So this Let Us Entertain You has definitely morphed almost into a gold color. So that should be interesting. It should return to normal, but sometimes it doesn't. Guess we'll find out. And we're gonna go ahead and pour this into our mold. Right up to the top, and then the rest of this I'm going to put into the falcon so that we can put everything else on top for frosting. That's done. This is setting up. It's not there yet. I didn't imagine it to be. We're going to set it right here. Then I'm gonna mix up some oil for the top. And what this will do, this will be an oil drizzle. Once we put everything on top, we'll drizzle it and then it will kind of recess and look pretty interesting. That should be enough. And for that, I'm gonna go back to my old faithful maniacal pea. That should do it. Audio compressor seems to be working well. It was louder here in the den than it was in the headset. Good. All right. That's ready for when we're ready for it. And let's return to our pickle soap as this guy sets up. There, that's what we want. Starting to stay within its bounds. All right. Let's give this some texture. We're gonna go a little bit random with the texture here. Nothing too particular. The Soap Challenge Club this month is about soap tops, and so we're gonna learn some new topping textures and piping techniques for the tops. So I'm excited to see what we end up using that on, because we got some cool stuff we gotta make still. So we'll see what we do. All right, that looks nice. Let's take some dill weed and give it a nice sprinkle. We don't want to use too much because over time the dill will turn brown and just look like little sticks. But for now, it looks nice. Adds a little extra scent to it as well. Really? Come here. It's so flaky. And then for this one, we're gonna give it a little spray of gold.
Spray?
Yes, spray. Because pickles are golden, right? What you looking for? Is that just extra?
I thought you had like a shavings.
That one.
Ah! Yeah.
Just lift up the arrows. All right, this one is done. I'm gonna move him over with his friends. This one's starting to set up nicely. Let's see where our frosting is. Our frosting's not there yet, but that's okay because we need to work on our lime. Grim, out of the kitchen. Out. I forgot to call the vet today.
Okay.
For heartworm pills.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh yes. Wait, no. Gloves.
Okay.
The sides of that box are clean. Yeah. Move that. Clean in the sink. That's enough. Alright, so let's check on our line and see how weird it looks. slide these over again. All right. Let's see if we just have a weird sphere. And if we do, we shall deal with that. 'Cause I'm not doing it again. So far the outside looks a little dusted. Maybe. Maybe not. Perhaps it's wishful thinking. Nope, no difference whatsoever. It is got a little color on the edges, but meh. That's okay. We'll make this work. We're still getting the lime halves out of it. It'll be more implied than literal, but that's okay. The whole drink is kind of implied versus literal. That should be enough. And then, because it is a margarita, we need some straws. Straws. One, two, three, four, five. So I only use the ends because when you snip it, you naturally just kind of compress the bottom part, so it doesn't look as good. But they are biodegradable paper straws. So we have straws, we have limes, we are in good shape, and we have ice cubes. Do you really need anything more for a good margarita? Okay. This is nice and set up. Let's see how we're doing on our frosting. I would dare say we're there. Okay. Don't need that in my knee anymore. Do I want to pipe it? How about a beach to drink it on, or even a pool? A pool would be very nice. Can I ask for one of those for my birthday? It is my birthday month. Alright. I'm gonna lay down some base. No, I want a piping bag. So much more control. Squeaky piping bag incoming. Oh, not too squeaky today. You can ask, but you might be disappointed. I'll settle for one of those kiddie pools in the backyard. Perfect depth to lounge in and sip a margarita. Okay. So naturally, always putting it in the bag softens it up again, but that's okay because this is all I'm trying to do right now. And I'm going to flip the bag up, correct this little spillage. And we're going to load in some ice cubes. We're going to keep them this big. We're not going to keep them this big. We're going to shrink down some ice cubes. Carefully. Just cutting ice cubes, making a margarita out of soap. Okay, now we're going to build up some more over top of those ice cubes. Okay, this is going to be a tall boy, but that's all right. You like tall boys. All right, let's put in our straws. Good mark should be a tall boy. Agreed. Oh, I maybe not. Should not have put in that center one, but that's okay. Five, 6, 7, little more frosting at the end. All right, there's those. All right, turn face front again. We're gonna cut more ice cubes, but first we're gonna put on some limes. All right, now let's cut up some more ice cubes. Yep, not edible, just teasing. Just to get your eyes. Don't eat the soap. Can't eat the soap. Soap does not want to be eaten. The soap will fight back. A little crushed ice for the top, because it is a margarita after all. Before we start putting all of that on, bring it back center. And do some drizzle. Okay, that's good. How are we on our ice here? Do I want more? I can always make more. Alright. Lots of ice on the margarita. But this side needs ice too. So we are going to make more. more. And I think that'll do it. Okay. Break those all up. All the placement so precise to make it look like it's not precise at all. Oh, this isn't going to be fun to cut. All these little pieces trying to come off all over the place. That's all right. Let's see, does anybody else need a little more ice? Anywhere looking bare? Two pieces left. Just stick them somewhere and there. Beautiful. Now, of course, as is tradition, it needs some glitter. Get some general glitter on there. And then some of this one. And then because obviously it's a top shelf margarita, we need some gold. Gorgeous. And then we have extra because this is already very tall. So I'm going to put it into the Falcon, and we are actually really full on the Falcon tonight. But all that ice in there really makes it. Set that aside, set that aside. Oh, there's more in there. Alright, that's done, that's done. These are done, that's done. Let me lift it up so you can see a little better. All that ice and glitter. So shiny. Let's put this guy. We're going to put a little, just a little glitter on top of the Dr. Pepper, just to give it that kind of wet shine. There we go. Of course, our pickle, which the colors are coming out just beautiful. And last but not least, our Whataburger soap, which will be so much more interesting once we cut it. Whew. Lots of soap tonight, guys. Lots and lots of soap, as with most Mondays. It's hard to think back to times when I was only doing 1 or 2 loaves of soap a night. But here we are. And here's our soaps tonight, looking absolutely fantastic. In fact, I'm going to add just a tiny more radioactive to our margarita there, because it's looking like it needs a little more oomph. Just a tiny bit more. There's never too much. Especially on top of all that nice ice. There. A little more pop with the green. Can never have too much. All right. Well, here's 4 out of the 5 from our weird soap collection. Our Margarita, Dr. Pepper, Pickle, and Whataburger's Honey Butter Biscuit. Next week, we'll be making our cilantro lime. And that will be the end of our soaps for our regular collections until August. After that, we're going to be doing exclusively convention soaps and then moving into convention bath bombs, scrubs, and salts. So you'll get to see some of that, and it'll be lots of fun. Zulu, let's check out who's out there needing to be rated today. Anchored and Ark are doing a dual stream. How fun! Let's go check out the Stanley Parable. Let's see which paths they're taking. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. Wednesday, we'll be back making some geodes and some Cloud9 bath bombs, as well as assembling our Paint Your Own Bath Bomb kits, which we finally got all the supplies back in for, so that we can do that. Thank you again for joining us, and then we'll be cutting all of these on Wednesday. I'm very excited to see how they've all turned out, and we'll see you guys then. Oh, thank you, Midnights. Really appreciate it. Zulu, let's go on and head out with our raid.